Hey, it's Skyro. Welcome back to the channel. Today, there were some March of the Machine spoilers. I am sick. I know I sound really great, but there's spoilers out today, and I'm here to cover them. So we'll go through them, the standard legal ones. There are some Commander promos that you can get in pre-release packs that are not going to be standard legal, and there's actually a return of a mechanic for Commander that's really going to be cool. So let's get into it. Thanks for hitting that like. Thanks for hitting that subscribe, and let's check them out. First, we have Breach the Multiverse. This is double black, 5 generic for sorcery. It's rare. Each player mills 10 cards. For each player, choose a creature card or planeswalker in that player's graveyard and put those cards onto the battlefield under your control. Then each creature you control becomes a Phyrexian in addition to its other types. This is a 7 mana spell, mills a bunch of stuff, and then you get free planeswalkers and creatures. Potential 4 for 1 makes all your stuff Phyrexians. This seems pretty cool. It is very expensive. That's nice, though. Next up is Chandra Hope's Beacon. Terrific art on this. Double red, 4 generic for 5 loyalty planeswalker. When you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you can copy it and choose new targets for the copy. The ability triggers only once each turn. +2 to add 2 mana in any combination of colors, which is really cool to see a red planeswalker enable multicolored decks like this. Also, +1, exile the top 5 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may cast an instant or sorcery spell from among those exiled cards. And let's not forget that we are going to be copying the one if Chandra stays on the field when we cast that. And then -X damage to up to 2 targets. I think this is a very cool planeswalker. I love the mana of any combination of colors. I love the static ability of copying your instants and sorceries. This seems like it's going to be very silly. Love it, Chandra. This is a really cool thing. This is Drana. So if you know Drana, the Last Bloodsheath, and Linvala, Shield of Seagate. Double white, 1 black, 1 generic for a 3/4 Flying Vigilance Vampire Angel. And activated abilities of creatures your opponents control can't be activated. And then they have all activated abilities of all creatures your opponents control. And you can spend mana as though it were mana of any color to activate those abilities. Your opponent kind of needs to have like a really good creature that has a good activated ability, but if you have this, it would be really funny to activate their huge activated ability on their creature. Plus, it shuts down all of theirs, so that's really cool. Next up is Heliod, the Radiant Dawn. Everything looks okay with Heliod so far. Double white, 2 generic for a 4/4 legendary enchantment creature, like we've seen with Theros. Of course, he'd be an enchantment creature. He is a god. And when he enters the battlefield, return target enchantment card that isn't a god from a graveyard to your hand. Cool. Get some recursion there. 3 and a Phyrexian blue mana. Uh-oh, Heliod. Transform him. Activate only as a sorcery. And what does he transform into? Let's look at the flavor text. Complete the faith. Complete the god. Oh, no. Not Heliod. Yep, here he is. Heliod, the Warped Eclipse, legendary enchantment creature, Phyrexian god. You may cast spells as though they had flesh. Any spells, creature spells, enchantments, artifacts, whatever. Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card your opponents have drawn this turn. Oh, makes me sad to see Heliod completed, but I am looking forward to playing with him because he looks really good. So here we have Jin-Gitaxias again, but this is different. This is a combination of 2 card types that we've seen recently. It's double blue, 3 generic for 5/5 Phyrexian Praetor, legendary creature and mythic rare with ward 2. When you cast a non-creature spell with mana value 3 or greater, draw a card. Very cool. 1 blue, 3 generic, exile him, return to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control. Activate only as a sorcery and only if you have 7 or more cards in hand. What could he turn into? The answer is he transforms into a saga. The Great Synthesis. This does not have read ahead on it, so you're forced to go with step 1, 2, and 3. You can't choose like some of the read ahead sagas we've seen recently. But 1 is draw cards equal the number of cards in your hand. It's going to be 7 because you have to have 7 in your hand to transform it in the first place. You have no maximum hand size for as long as you control the Great Synthesis. 2, return all non-Phyrexian creatures to their owner's hands. And 3, you may cast any number of spells from your hand without paying their mana costs. And exile the Great Synthesis, then return it to the battlefield front face up. Didn't realize that until I just read it just now. So it comes back as a creature after the saga has been completed, if you will. Seems really hard to flip, though. Let me know what you think in the comments. Next up, we have a common Moment of Truth. Pretty self-explanatory card. 1 blue, 1 generic for an instant. Look at the top 3. 1 into the hand, 1 in the graveyard, 1 on the bottom. But the thing that's interesting about this card is the art and the flavor text, leading us into an idea of where March of the Machine is going. So we have, on the precipice of eternity, Elspeth made a choice. The fight would not end without her. So Looks like maybe Elspeth like died, sacrificed herself, and maybe chose, instead of going to the afterlife, maybe to come back and fight again. So we could see maybe another Elspeth in this set somewhere along the line. Let me know what you think about it in the comments, but the art on this card is awesome. It's going to be playable. I mean, cards like this are playable. It's a good common, so we'll see where it goes from here. This is a really interesting card. This is Yargle and Multani. Another one of these like partner cards, if you will. Double black, green, 3 generic for an 18/6. Frog, Spirit, Elemental. Wish this had Trample. It's a legendary creature. The flavor text is the entire text box. I've heard much about you from my daughter, Multani rumbled. There was a time when I'd balk at your aid, Phantom, but she has shown me the merit in Urborg's strange ways. Ginshgak ribbit, replied Yargle. How true that is, Yargle. 18/6. I don't know where this fits in with Index, but it's a cool card. It's really ridiculous. Here we have Thalia and the Gitrog monster teaming up for Abzan mana and 1 generic for human frog horror. 4/4 first strike death touch, which is a potent combination. Attacks in, kills anything it hits without indestructible, blocks anything, kills anything. It's great. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Creatures and non-basic lands your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped, and whenever Thalia and the Gitrog monster attacks, sacrifice a creature, land, then draw a card. It seems really good. A lot of good abilities on this. It's a brawler in combat, and it just messes up your opponent's game plan. Like, seriously, Thalia and the Gitrog monster, very good team. We have a promo here. By now we all kind of know what Ragavan Nimble Pilferer does. Really a big staple in Modern, and just a very, very good card. But here's a nice promo version that they're going to be releasing. Same here. Traxa Praetor's voice. All mana except for red. 4/4 flying, vigilance, death touch, lifelink, being your end step, proliferate. This is a very good card. It currently already exists. This is just a promo version, and the art is really killer. I love it. This is a big image, but there are 10. There's a full cycle of gain lands. These come in tapped. They're dual lands that enter the battlefield tapped and gain you 1 life. I'm sure Pauper players will like this. Also going to be pretty cool if there is a limited format involving this. I'm not sure if there is or not yet. But yeah, and all the art show all these little things Phyrexianized, which is very, very cool flavor. And the returning mechanic for Commander that I was talking about is Plane Chase. They have stated, this is a tweet from Magic the Gathering, each deck has 5 new plane cards, 4 reprint plane cards, and 1 phenomenon card. So let's look at the ones that they've revealed so far. So this is the first of the 3 planes. This is Tawashi, plane of Kamigawa. Modified creatures you control have trample, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, planeswalker, draw a card. And then at the bottom, whenever chaos ensues, distribute 3+1/+1 counters among 1, 2, or 3 target creatures that you control. It'll be interesting to see what chaos ensuing means. That's all I know so far about Tawashi. Next is Spatial Merging. This is a phenomenon card. When you encounter Spatial Merging, reveal cards from the top of your planar deck until you reveal 2 plane cards. Simultaneously planeswalk to both of them. Put all other cards revealed this way on the bottom of your planar deck in any order. And the Isle of Vesuva from the plane of Dominaria. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, its controller creates a token that's a copy of that creature. Whenever chaos ensues, destroy target creature and all other creatures with the same name as that creature. And finally, to wrap things up, there are Commander Legal promos. These cards are found in your pre-release decks, but they are not playable at pre-release events. So you could find them there. It could be a little confusing, but these are not playable. They're playable only in Commander. This is Goro Goro and Satoru, Grixis mana for a 3/4 Goblin Human. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control that enter the battlefield this turn deal combat damage to a player, create a 5/5 red dragon spirit creature token with flying, rewarding some hasty action with creatures. 1 red, 1 generic creatures you control gain haste till end of turn. So make a bunch of tokens, swing in, make a bunch of dragons. Very, very cool. Love the art, love the card. Next up is Catilda and Lear for Bant mana, 3/3 legendary creature human. When you cast a human spell, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback till end of turn. Flashback cost is equal to its mana cost. And lastly, Slimefoot and Squee for Jund mana, 3/3 fungus goblin. Whenever Slimefoot and Squee enters the battlefield or attacks, create a 1/1 green Saproling creature token. And then for Jund mana +1 generic, sacrifice a Saproling, return Slimefoot and Squee and up to 1 other target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. Yeah, that card seems good. That's awesome. So that's it for today. I'm sure there will be more spoilers coming out, and I will be updating the channel. So if you like this video, please give a thumbs up for your sick friend. Subscribe for more March of the Machine spoilers and arena gameplay and everything else Magic the Gathering. Until then, have a great rest of your weekend and a great week ahead. See you next time.